and welcome to another edition of The Real Countryfile. Sadly, Ollie's a bit under the weather this week, but Angela and I have been out and about, and we've got a jam-packed episode just coming up for you. Earlier this week, I went to take a step back in time and look around the Fylde Country Life Museum. We're going to hear more about the Dyno Day organised by George Saunders in Cambridge, but first, Angela reports from the Dairy Tech event that took place in Stoneleigh earlier this week.
It's Dairy Tech Day today, so we're here at Stoneleigh. Everything that a farmer would need to have is in this building here, so let's go and have a look round. Right, so Matt, the doors have just opened to Dairy Tech, so what is today all about?
Yeah, thanks Angela. Well, here's Dairy Tech's just started, as Angela's just said, doors have opened. What can you expect from Dairy Tech 2023? In a nutshell, innovation, innovation, innovation. We've got 320 exhibitors that are offering new tech, new products, kit, advice and guidance. We've got 80 new products being launched on the show floor today. And the show mission is as clear as it is today as it was when we did the first Dairy Tech here at Stoneleigh Park in 2018. We want to create an environment where a dairy farmer or anyone from the supply chain can walk in, listen to international speakers, listen to industry leading speakers, road test tech, see new products, and that's what you can expect today. I think we're probably going to get about 6,000, 7,000 people through the door, so fingers crossed for a really good day.
Right, so I've just bumped into Tom Pemberton here. So, Tom, are you looking at anything in particular at the show?
Yeah, so actually quite a few things, because we're just putting a new parlour up at home, so we've got to work in a portable parlour, so that's kind of a bit of a story on itself. So we're moving away from the calves, so I need to look at ways of getting the milk to the calves, and then I need to look at ways to develop the parlour and make sure we're doing a proper job. So today is very important for me.
Loads to look at.
Yeah, incredible. Not enough time in the day today, but we'll get it.
Well, let's go and see what there is.
Will do.
With Stuart Martin, who's from the Digital Dairy Chain organisation. So, Stuart, just give us an overview. What's this all about?
Yeah, well, I'm the new project director for the Digital Dairy Chain based in the southwest of Scotland and the northwest of England. And essentially, it's about innovation and growth for the area for dairy, right through the supply chain from cow to consumer. What we've actually done is we've accessed £21 million from the UKRI government grant, which is aimed to stimulate growth in product activity and economic growth in the area. Very simply, some of the initiatives are based a lot on new product development at all regions, innovation, and trying to stimulate as much new thinking to bring into industry to make it strong and resolute for the future. We also have a really interesting initiative called Maker Space, where we've identified a site in the northwest of England and in Ayrshire in Scotland. And what essentially that is a new product development site. So people in particular for cheese production who want to make a new ingredient or a new product can come and get access to that space free of charge, get a food technologist and develop something from scratch to project delivery and take intellectual property in that new product away from them, and we can totally fund that as well. And that is again to stimulate that NPD. What I would say to anybody based in the southwest of Scotland or the northwest of England, if they're not already involved in the project, get in contact with us and we'd like to work with you.
Now I've arrived in the lameness village and I'm with Chris Smith, who's one of the cattle foot trimmers here. So Chris, what is it that you're focusing on today?
hopefully today we're here to help people gain some knowledge about how it's important to keep cows fit healthy. It's better to trim cows on a routine basis to try and keep the foot in the best condition it can be to keep the cow as healthy as possible.
And we've actually got a hoof here. Is this actually real? It's not plastic?
This is actually a real cow's foot.
Right, okay. So what are you demonstrating with this?
So shortly we'll be doing a live demonstration of how to do a routine trim.
Okay, great. So hopefully lots of people will come round and take your advice.
Hope so.
Hi, my name is Matthew, National Sales Manager for JFC Agri. We're here at Dairy Tech 2023. We've had a fantastic day, lots of inquiries on our well-established products such as the JFC milk cart, but also been a great chance to show the dairy farmers some of our new products such as our CMB05 tippy meal bin and also our ATV fertiliser spreader.
So I've just come across Sophie, who works at Grosvenor Farms in Chester, and those of you that have watched the Real Country File from the start will remember that we met up with Sophie earlier in the spring and summertime. So Sophie, what is it that you've been looking at the show today?
So I've come as a student today. We've had talks on welfare, we've had talks on robotics, on the use of vending machines for milk. There's so much going on, we've not had time to cover it all. I really wish we'd started earlier, but it's been a really great day and I really recommend coming down next year.
So there we have it. It's certainly been a massively busy event here today. So much enthusiasm and energy and excitement about the dairy industry and its future. So if you want to find out about any more information about the companies that have been exhibiting here today at the show, then just go onto the Dairy Tech website. Well, I've just about recovered from the show. It was certainly a lot of walking around and certainly got my step count up. Speaking of steps, Stephen takes a step back in time now as he visits the Fylde Rural Life Museum. So let's take a look.
Well, thanks for inviting me, Michael, to this absolutely fantastic museum. Tell me a little bit about where we are.
Well, we're at Fleetwood. We're at Farmer Parr's Animal World at the Fylde Country Life Preservation Society's museum that James has so kindly let us have these buildings for. Fylde preservation, you've done a lot for us in last few years, but next year it'll be 50th anniversary at Preservation Society. So we're here today in the museum, and you're having a look around and seeing what we've got.
So 50 years of country life preservation. Why bother having a museum? We've got internet, you know. Why was it started? You know, what's it all about? Why do you keep it going?
We keep it going. Well, when it first set off, it was a group of enthusiasts who wanted to preserve some of the artefacts out of the Fylde, like Pilling and Preesall and all around that area of Lancashire. And two or three, it was mostly a family, the Thompson family, when they first started, and they kept collecting articles and putting into a cabin, and then it was decided to organise a club, which set off in 74, and I joined I think in about 76, 77 when we moved up here from Chorley.
And the whole idea, the whole ethos is to preserve country life and things that, you know, in that time, in that 50 years now look really, really old, out-fashioned. Some stuff that's 5 years old can look old-fashioned, can't it, in 5 million country life?
It dates fast. Yeah, when we look around what we've got the old torf digging from what they used to have in Pilling. Obviously, they used to use that for heating their houses up. There's just all sorts here. There's a binder there. We've got the thresher here, the stand baler, which in 50s you would be seen going with a steamroller, a traction engine, to a farm to do their harvest, and to do threshing. And then we turn around here and we've got the more up-to-date combine harvester.
I did notice Ollie might be a bit keen because really good access to engine with it not having anything covering it at all.
That's it.
Health and safety slightly improved since then.
Yeah. Well, you look at some of these here, we've got belts flying. There'll be belts flapping about on the side of it. And if we had it running in that field, well, we'd have to fence it all off. And
keep
Nobody
people
else
away.
Well, that's it, yeah. And I mean, you can stand on top and fall into the baler here, and all you've got is a really great big ramp and some spikes and that. So you do a lot of harm anyway.
And agriculture is still a very dangerous
It
business,
is,
unfortunately,
yeah.
but it's come up here since then. Museums like this one here in Fleetwood really a big part of keeping the knowledge alive and passing it on to the next generation. You get a lot of school visits here, don't you?
We do, yes. Yeah.
Living history.
And we get a lot of folk coming. I mean, to be quite honest, about half an hour ago, there were 2 Australian ladies up there. And in that other room up there, we've put, because it's Chinese New Year today, Happy New Year to all you Chinese listeners and viewers. And we've decorated it with lanterns and put a menu on the table. And she said, "Oh, Chinese New Year." And I thought, well, that's good, for somebody to comment on that.
So why do you keep going? What's the main reason for the society to keep going? I know you're looking for new members.
Well, we're always looking for new members. And the idea of the society is to preserve, so these articles are never going to get scrapped, because there'll be thousands and thousands of threshers and balers and steamers that have been scrapped over years. Same with old tractors, your standard Fords and all them. At one time when I worked for a tractor dealer in Adlington, we give £25 for a standard Fordson. All it was because he'd had a frost with Ron's back end and scrap it. So it's a good job we're here to keep some of the vehicles and some of the tractors and some of the machinery that to preserve it, to keep we'll have the next generation to look right.
Yeah, so that the next generation can see. We'll have a good look around, and maybe you've got a country life preservation museum where you live, or something similar that you'd like us to feature on the Real Country File. We'd love to get more people visiting these museums around the UK, just so that we can teach the next generation about what farming and country life was like in yesteryear. Thanks, Mick, for showing us around. I've had a great time. Good. Lots of interesting things for us to see here at the museum, and I wish you luck with the next 50 years.
Thanks, and I hope I'm still around in 50 years, and you're stood here, Stephen, in 50 years doing this interview again.
I've got a funny feeling you might be one of the exhibits at front by then.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Thanks for that, Stephen. Now, those of you that were watching The Real Country File a couple of weeks ago will remember that George Saunders sent a video in to us about his dyno day. So let's see how he got on.
Hi everyone, George here. Now, you'll remember I was on a few weeks ago and we were getting ready for the charity dyno day, which we've had last week. It was very successful, raised a good amount of money for the RABI and Yana Help. So on tractors, at the back here, you've got the PTO, which is the power takeoff shaft, which supplies power to implements such as balers and power harrows, that sort of thing, to power them off the tractor. Now, what the dyno does is it uses that output to measure the performance of the tractor, the amount of torque, the amount of horsepower coming out of it, torque backup, all sorts of parameters, and it goes up and down, and it puts the tractor under varying degrees of load. Normally by what's happening inside the dyno is normally it's sort of it's pumping around hydraulic oil, and then it restricts that oil, so it requires more force to pump that oil around, and that's where you get the load on the tractor. So that's essentially what it's for. You can basically say you're buying, say we've got the TW25 here. This should have been 156 horsepower rated engine power coming out of the factory, which relates to probably about 140 horsepower coming out of the PTO shaft. What the dyno allows you to do is measure those statistics. Is it more? Is it less? And in my case, with the TW25, it was way more. It was 163 horsepower coming out of the back end of the TW25. So it really done well. And that was brilliant for me. And it is sort of bragging rights, like, we sort of, in that initial video, we said, what's it going to do? Is it 140, 150? Well, she's 163 horsepower. She's got them all. There were some strong performers there. The Big Massey, that really did well. 316 horsepower, 2,000 pound-foot of torque. Quadtrack was down. That did less than the Massey actually, and that should have been 440 rated engine horsepower. Only did about 310, 311. But it had, you know, the torque figures off the charts. Yeah, about 2,500 pound-foot of torque. So really, really impressive. But yeah, no, a very good day, and we raised a good bit of money for charity. So yeah, hope you enjoy it, and see you again. We've got quite a few machines here already. A little Case 120, Valtra, a Fender at the back there, old school fast track, 7930, a couple of McCormicks. Very successful day. That was our first time we'd done a dyno day, wasn't it? And
a lot of people are wanting to come back next year.
Yeah, definitely. We've definitely booked in for another year, haven't we? Yeah. Raised over £1,000 for both charities, haven't we?
Yeah.
So it was good and got their name out there a bit. Yeah. Rabbi and Yana helped, so that's all good. And
big thanks to Sharman's.
Oh, yes, yeah. They're keen as mustard to redo it again. Like, yeah, I mean they were great. There's sort of 4 or 5 guys there.
Yeah.
Bought the dyno, bought the what they have, was it a Puma?
Yeah,
bought a Puma, didn't they? Like, yeah. So no, great success, and we'll be doing it again next year, I think.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, George. An absolutely cracking event. If you've got a farming related event coming up that you'd like us to promote, or something that's already taken place that you'd like to shout about, then please send us a short video. We'd love to spread the word about your events. Well, that's it for this week's edition of The Real Country File. So thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to press like and subscribe if you've not done so already. It really does help the algorithms so that we can spread the word about what you're getting up to out and about in the real country farm.